What's up, boys and foids? Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. We're playing some Bloons today, and I've got a story to tell you guys about when I was at the mall. Okay, so I went to the mall, and I was wearing. I'm like a prominent fashion influencer, if you guys didn't know. And I was at the mall, and there's this like really rude lady. She was an absolute Karen, and she looked at me. She told me that I need to put my pubes away, like I was distracting her or something. Or actually, I think she called it a problem, and I was telling her, I may have called her some 4chan slurs, you know, but it ended up in it almost ended up in a fist to fist brawl. She was talking about my pubic statement. So if you guys didn't know, my latest line of fashion is all about showing off your pubic hairs, because I feel like if you don't use every hair in your body to your advantage, you're not actually a fashion artist, right? Like you gotta be out there and you gotta try things that no one else will try. And I'm like an innovator, right? I've always been an innovator. You can tell, right? Obviously by like even this setup here. I'm using only the baddest characters in the game. So you know, I'm an innovator, and I was wearing these women's tights that were two sizes too small, and they were pretty much down to like halfway down my hip, so you could see like the top of my pubes and stuff, right? And that was all there. So that was there like to be the fashion point of the statement. And she commented on it, and I thought it was gonna be a compliment at first. She was like asking me, I was like, "Oh yeah, you like it." And then she told me it was like a problem, and I was about ready to punch her right there, but I didn't, because I wasn't sure if she was a man or not, and I would never hit a man. I feel like she only discriminated against me like this because I'm intersex, and like I like growing up as an intersex person, I felt like a lot of like discrimination, right? Like when you would have like in like the elementary school bathroom when all the boys would get in a circle and like whip out their dicks, I would be scared to do it just because it looked different, and like she's like discriminating against me for my intersex life, right? And this pubic statement I'm making, and like, come on. Just because you can see that my boxers are halfway down my pants on my women's tights, that doesn't mean it's problematic. The security looked at me weird, but they didn't say anything. Like, I would rather you, okay, if you see me out in public, like doing my fashion, you can't tell me that that's wrong, because I'm living more myself than she was, right? And I feel like that's what's important in the end. And like, I don't know. It's just how I feel like we should all live our lives. Being able to be our true selves like that. But yeah. So my uncle asked to get me disowned because I'm intersex, and like that was pretty crazy too. Honestly, my parents. Okay, well, one thing you gotta know is my dad isn't actually my dad. So what essentially happened is, like, I don't want to get too much into it because it's a little bit of a personal matter, but like something between my neighbor's dog and my mom. Yeah, and yeah, so because of like the conditions of where and how I was born, that helped like for me as an intersex person. And my uncle, he felt that wasn't just he just didn't think that was right. And he didn't think I could ever be their son. Um because I mean, probably because I was intersex. But like it could also it could also be like I was born in a like, so my family is kind of like poor, so we couldn't get like proper we couldn't get proper hospitalization care and stuff. So we went and we found like a really like clean and sanitary portion of the junkyard, right? And I was born in the back of a used sedan, and uh it just felt like I just felt like because of that, that's always why my privileged normally gendered non-gender dysmorphic uncle, it was like, I feel like he could never relate, and that's why he hated me so much. Yeah, and I felt a little bit of that hate inside um that woman at the mall, and it kind of brought back trauma. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, they pretty swiftly kicked me out of the mall. I can't hit camo balloons. Let me get that real quick here. Let's do like something like this is a pretty bad monkey. Let's do that. Let's fire. Okay. Anyway, and I feel like this message, I wanted to give out this message to like all intersex people that you're not alone. But Nintendo has decided that they wanted to shadow ban me on YouTube because I was like, fuck no, bro. Okay, we'll have to lower the difficulty here. Nintendo decided they wanted to shadow ban me, and there's like a couple of reasons for that. It could be, I mean, obviously, it could be because I'm intersex. Like, obviously, that's a big thing Nintendo notoriously hates, right? They went out. I think like Doug Bowser had a public statement about it or something. Yeah, whatever. But like, it could also be because of my. I leaked the Switch 2. I posted a video, that was like basically what I thought about my reaction to the Switch 2 trailer, my concerns. And I kind of like leaked all the problems and forced them to fix them because I called them out on it. So I think they were mad at me for probably tanking the sales of the console. And like, I don't know. I felt like, yeah, you can watch the video for my full thoughts, but you know, I'm not going to get into it here. I'm just saying that, yeah, I was shadow banned by Nintendo for being intersex Quebec separatist. Oh yeah, so I am a Quebec separatist, and I know that's like controversial on like if like to be like a famous person who's a Quebec separatist, but I feel like you gotta think about it from like another perspective, which is the perspective that like if your culture is being oppressed by your government for like millennia, you Loki should like speak up about it. And I feel like that's what they were kind of doing, right? Another person like I know who feels oppressed for sure is I have a furry artist friend, and basically he feels oppressed by AI and AI art because people can just make AI art, and like I've commissioned him before to like to make intersex furries so I can feel included in like culture and stuff, right? And like he made my persona. I'll go ahead and like flash it up on the screen now. But he made this persona for me, and I feel like, yeah, it's just like it's so real and raw because it's made by another person, and like, yeah. But check out the penis on that thing though. That's absolutely crazy. AI could never. So wrapping back around to the lady at the mall, I feel like this is all connected because at some point in time, there was like, I feel like there was a day and age, which is probably like 2012, where being a, being like a, an intersex like Quebec separatist like this would not get you called out in public like this. And I feel like they wanted me to be publicly humiliated. And don't get me wrong, that like turned me on. I mean, you wouldn't be able to notice because I am intersex, and like, but like it still wasn't a kind thing to do just because like it excited me. That doesn't mean it was the kindest thing in the world. Another story about my intersex childhood is I was with my furry artist friend, and it's been like really weird. Recently he's been neglecting to want to show me like his crotch area, so I feel like there's something going on there. And it's just like I thought we could trust each other, right? With like with that. But I feel like he might be ashamed of it, and I'll have to confront him about this possible hate towards intersex people. So one day I think I'll become a politician, and like there's so much attention being put. I'm not blaming them, but I'm just saying there's so much attention being put on like indigenous people in Canada, where it's like the Quebec people who need this support because they've been oppressed for so long, and it's not being like talked about and touched on just because of like how it's like it's almost like a taboo, to like say that you want to help like Quebec separatists because it's like, oh well, that aid could be going to indigenous people, and like I'm thinking about it, right? And it's just like, could it though? Like, do they like Like, could they split like half of it? You know, like I get they're also an oppressed people, but like Quebec people have been oppressed for longer, and also it's been like rectified for like the indigenous people, but not for Quebec people. You know, it's like we're still not a country. That's something that I feel like honestly that's the worst one. That's the worst one. We're like we I went up to the parliament like about maybe a month ago, and I was yelling to Carney, and he ignored me, bro. That also might be because I'm intersex, but that also could be that also might be because I'm politically shadow banned for my comments against Nintendo, right? Where I was calling them out for a bunch of things, right? Yeah, I don't know. We're almost done here. We're about to win. I feel like I feel like this honestly this is like the best strategy in the game because I can low key like get like as much glue as I wanted on these balloons, and they wouldn't be able to move, which would give me more time to farm bananas. So that's low key, yeah. I wonder if this character's a minor or not. Yeah. I like playing balloons because it like represents me intersexually.